Close your eyes for a moment and just breathe into the quiet space. Perhaps you are sitting in a room that feels a little too still today, wondering if the deep, silent prayers of your soul are truly being heard by the universe. There is a common fear that, as the chapters of our lives turn, our power to change our story begins to fade. But what if I told you that your heart carries a language that the very fabric of existence, the divine matrix, is waiting to answer? You are not just a witness to your life, you are the architect of its very cells. Let us walk together into the science of your own belonging. Gregg Braden often speaks of a field of energy that connects all of creation, a divine matrix that acts as a container for our experiences and a bridge between our inner world and the outer reality. If you have ever felt that deep sense of loneliness, even in a crowded room, or the heavy weight of a prayer that seems to go unanswered, it is easy to believe that the universe has fallen silent. But science is now catching up to what your soul has always whispered. The universe is not silent. It is simply waiting for a specific kind of language. This is the language of the human heart, which researchers have found produces a magnetic field significantly stronger than that of the brain. When we align our feelings with our thoughts, we create a ripple in this field, a frequency that the divine matrix recognizes and responds to with profound precision. Think of your heart not just as a pump, but as a sophisticated translator that turns your deepest emotions into a signal that travels far beyond the walls of your home. When you move through a day feeling the sting of a separation or the quiet ache of a loss, your biology begins to broadcast a signal of lack. Yet, the beauty of this new science is the realization that you are not a victim of your circumstances or even your history. By shifting your internal state, even for a few minutes each morning, you begin to reprogram the very environment of your cells. It is like tuning a radio that has been stuck on a static-filled station for years. Once you find the clear frequency of peace or gratitude, the music of the universe begins to play once more, rewriting your reality from the inside out. This process of reconnection is not about forced positivity or ignoring the parts of you that hurt. It is about the courage to sit with that pain and then choose a different vibration. As Gregg Braden reminds us, the feeling is the prayer. The field does not respond to what we want. It responds to who we are being in this very moment. If you can find the space to feel even a small spark of gratitude for the breath in your lungs, you are sending a signal of yes to the divine intelligence. You are telling the universe that you are ready to move from the shadows of survival into the light of sovereign creation. And in that moment of coherence, the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming begins to manifest right beneath your feet. As we descend deeper into the understanding of our internal power, we must look at the silent landscape that dictates so much of our daily life, the subconscious mind. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in the field of epigenetics, often reminds us that we are not victims of our genetic code, but rather the masters of how that code is expressed. If you have spent years feeling trapped in a loop of self-sabotage, or if you feel that your energy is somehow blocked by the weight of your past, know that this is not a permanent sentence. Imagine your subconscious mind as a vast, fertile garden of soil, hidden beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. For most of our lives, we have been planting seeds in this soil without even realizing it. Seeds of doubt, fear, and old stories that tell us we are not enough. But the groundbreaking truth of epigenetics is that your biology is not your destiny. It is a response to the environment you provide for it, both physically and emotionally. There is a profound peace in realizing that your cells are constantly eavesdropping on your thoughts. Your body hears everything your soul whispers, and it responds by creating the chemistry of either survival or growth. When we carry the heavy frequency of, "It is too late for me," or "I am broken," we are essentially giving our biology a blueprint for stagnation. However, the moment you begin to shift your internal narrative, you are engaging in a form of spiritual neuroplasticity. This is like sculpting a new version of yourself with every intentional thought, slowly carving away the old patterns of the past to reveal the masterpiece that has always been there. Even for the seeker who has walked this earth for many decades, the capacity for this transformation remains vibrant and alive. The soil of your soul is always ready for a new season of growth. Reprogramming this inner landscape is not about a forceful battle with your thoughts, but about a gentle, persistent presence. It is a ritual of returning to the heart, over and over again, until the new frequency of belonging and worthiness becomes your natural state. As you sit in the stillness today, recognize that you are the architect of your own temple. You are not merely a passenger in your body, but the conscious intelligence that guides its healing. By choosing to believe in your own capacity for renewal, you are sending a signal to every cell in your being that it is safe to thrive. This is where the bridge between science and spirituality becomes a path you can walk every day, a path that leads you home to the sovereign truth of who you truly are. There are moments in our journey when we feel deeply fragmented, as if our minds are racing toward a future of worry, while our hearts remain heavy with the echoes of the past. We often live in a state of internal static, where our thoughts and emotions are out of sync, creating a dissonance that leaves us feeling exhausted and spiritually lost. This feeling of being out of alignment is not a failure on your part. It is simply a signal that your inner instruments need to be tuned to a higher frequency. Gregg Braden teaches us that the bridge to the divine matrix is built through heart-brain coherence, a state where the electrical signals of the brain and the magnetic power of the heart dance in a unified rhythm. When this alignment occurs, you move out of the survival mode of the ego and into the creation mode of the soul, transforming your body from a house of stress into a sanctuary of healing. To experience this coherence is to find the still point in a turning world. Science now confirms that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart, meaning your heart is the true commander of your emotional state. When you consciously choose to breathe into the area of your heart and summon a feeling of genuine gratitude or compassion, you are doing more than just thinking positive. You are literally changing the magnetic signature you broadcast into the field. It is like a radio station finally finding its clear signal after years of white noise. Suddenly, the universe can hear you, and more importantly, you can hear the universe. This coherence is the gateway to your sovereignty, a place where you are no longer a victim of your biology, but a conscious co-creator of your reality. I invite you now to join me in a simple 3-minute ritual to anchor this frequency within your being. Find a comfortable position, perhaps placing a gentle hand over the center of your chest to bring your awareness to your heart's intelligence. Close your eyes and begin to slow your breath, making your exhalations slightly longer than your inspirations, signaling to your nervous system that it is safe to let go. As you breathe, shift your focus away from the to-do lists of the mind and deep into the warmth of your heart space. Now call to mind a single moment of simple beauty, perhaps the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of a loved one's laughter, or the quiet peace of a morning garden. Allow the feeling of that moment to expand with every breath, filling your chest with a soft golden light. This is the frequency of healing. This is the language of the divine matrix. And what if the peace you feel in this very moment is the evidence that your transformation has already begun? There is a common misconception that our lives are governed by a destiny already written in our stars, or more recently, in our DNA. For the seeker who has walked through decades of challenges, it can often feel as if the weight of past decisions has created a path that is impossible to deviate from. Yet, the sovereignty of the now is the realization that your point of power for true transformation exists exclusively in the present moment. Gregg Braden reminds us that the divine matrix is not a rigid structure, but a responsive partner that is only waiting for one answer from you. Yes, I am ready. This means that regardless of the history you carry, the losses, the fears, or the patterns of auto-sabotage, you are the architect of your reality the moment you choose a new frequency. Your genes do not control your destiny. They are merely the blueprints, and you are the conscious presence that decides which rooms to build and which to let go of. Living in this state of sovereignty requires us to move away from the piloto automatico of our daily routines and step into the role of a conscious observer. It is in the mundane moments, the quiet of a morning ritual, or the way you respond to a sudden wave of sadness, where your true power resides. Every choice you make to return to your heart's intelligence is an act of scientista rebelde, a quiet defiance against the materialist paradigm that says you are a victim of your circumstances. When you choose to anchor yourself in the frequency of peace despite the chaos of the world, you are literally reprogramming your biology and sending a new signal into the field. This is not a task of force, but a practice of surrender. A surrender to the truth that you are already worthy of the connection and healing you seek. As you move through the remaining hours of your day, I invite you to see every challenge not as a barrier, but as a gateway to your breakthrough. When the old echoes of "it is too late" begin to whisper, answer them with the silence of your own presence. Remember that the field is always listening, not to your words, but to the vibration of your heart. You are never truly alone in this journey. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back the frequency of the sovereignty you are now reclaiming. The question is no longer whether you can change, but whether you are willing to embrace the immense power of the now to rewrite your story with the ink of grace and intention. And what if the very breakdown you are experiencing is actually the breakthrough the universe has been preparing for you? As we reach the final horizon of our journey together, we find ourselves standing at the edge of a profound realization that the quiet peace you have cultivated within your own heart does not end at the surface of your skin. Gregg Braden teaches us that we are not isolated islands of consciousness, drifting through an indifferent void, but rather vital threads in a living tapestry of light known as the divine matrix. There is a silence that speaks in the moments between breaths, telling us that our individual healing is a sacred contribution to the healing of the world. When you find that still point of heart coherence, you are not just calming your own nervous system, you are broadcasting a ripple of order and grace into the collective field of humanity. This is the science of global coherence, the understanding that when enough of us choose the frequency of peace, we create a field effect that can literally shift the magnetic heartbeat of the earth itself. Perhaps there have been times when you felt small, as if your quiet prayers or your solitary rituals of gratitude were drops of water in a vast parched ocean. You may have wondered if the universe truly hears the whispers of a heart that has weathered so many seasons of loss and change. But the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton on the biology of belief reminds us that every cell in our body is a microcosm of the universe. And just as your cells look to you for leadership, the field looks to your heart for direction. You are never truly alone in your introspection. You are a partner with Source, a conscious witness to the unfolding of a new consciousness. Even the pains you have carried, the grief that felt like a permanent weight, or the loneliness of being misunderstood, can be seen as the very catalysts that forced you to search for a deeper truth. You are not broken. You are breaking through the old paradigm of separation and returning to the fundamental truth of your own belonging. As you prepare to step back into the flow of your daily life, carry this knowing with you like a lantern in the twilight. Your sovereignty is found in the simple, rhythmic act of returning to your heart over and over again until your internal resonance matches the harmony of the divine. This is not a task to be completed, but a way of being to be inhabited, a ritual of presence that transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Trust that the frequency you carry is enough. Trust that the field is already responding to the new signal you are sending. You are a proof of concept for a new way of living, showing that transformation is possible at any age and in any circumstance. And what if the deep sense of purpose you have been searching for is actually found in the very peace you are feeling right now?